Hi everyone, I'm Felipe, a Brazilian living in China, and let's see what those two guys, those two China haters, know.
This is actually Soft Power Hour, and this is where we tell you how China tries to change your mind through various means. There's been this fantastic interview.
Hi everyone, I'm Felipe, a Brazilian living in China, and let's see how China tries to change your mind through soft power. At least that's what they said.
Recently.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've heard about it, but we wanted to give our commentary on this, and we wanted to
Of
go
course
through
you
quickly
want.
with you, at least some of the highlights.
So to set this up, there is a guy that works for the Chinese government. His name is Victor Gao.
He's a very obnoxious human being.
Well, I think you'll.
We've had him on the show.
Not as a guest.
No, but
Of course he would never talk to you, like really.
the show when he was like threatening Australia because they were getting nuclear-powered submarines,
Yes.
not nuclear-armed.
Yeah, just nuclear power.
Yeah, just nuclear powers. Yeah.
You guys can come up with your own conclusions, what you think about him. But he's interviewed by this guy named
As long
Mehd.
as you have the opinion that he's obnoxious.
Yes, then you're allowed to stay.
Yeah.
Anyway, what they did was very interesting. He came to represent China, and Mehdi was the debater to bring up some issues that people have with China.
Yes.
And they had a panel. It was very reasonable, too. They had a Uyghur woman. They had a very mild critic of China. I liked him a lot, by the way. And then they had a pro-China dude. Well, seemingly pro-China. All his works seemed very pro-China. And so they had a panel that they could bounce things off of while he interviewed Victor, right?
Yeah.
This Uyghur woman is from China, or she's picked up by those World Uyghur Congress that are paid by the United States Congress? Just a question.
Now, this was shocking.
Oh, yes.
Because it really, to me and to you, and to the Chinese diaspora that translated this and put it in Chinese online, was reading through, really pulled the wool off of people's eyes about how the Chinese government actually operates. So we have some of the scenes from it. We'll commentate on it as it goes through.
And of course, this originally comes from Al Jazeera, and we do have a link in the description if you want to see
Clearly, it's not one China. Clearly, you're accepting by definition if you need to reunify it. They are doing their own thing.
So now he's talking about Taiwan, okay?
And why this obsession with Taiwan?
Why this obsession with Taiwan? Well, Taiwan is part of China since 600 years ago. A long time ago, was part of Fujian province. And then in the 1898, if I'm not mistaken, Japan took it from China. And it stayed like this until the end of World War II, when the United States and the UK, they said, okay, China, you can get everything back. Hong Kong, Taiwan, all the islands, everything back. But after the China Civil War, the Communist Party won. Chiang Kai-shek, the nationalist right wing, ran away to Taiwan. The United States said, oh, no. Now Taiwan is not part of China. Until the 70s. In the 70s, China and the United States got closed again. And the United States said, oh, actually, yes, Taiwan is part of China. So it's not an obsession. Taiwan is part of China.
Country of 3.7 million square miles, a population 60 times that of Taiwan, economy 20 times the size of Taiwan. Why are you obsessed with Taiwan? Why not just leave them be?
So this guy is from the UK, what's also as known as United Kingdom. Why this obsession with Scotland and Ireland? Why don't let them be, right? Do you see how stupid is this question? Why don't let all the colonies in peace? Why?
In terms of defending China's sovereignty and territorial integrity, any inch of land is not 1 inch too much. Any one single person is not one person too many. So we need to achieve reunification as
Even though they don't want to be part
Why
of
you don't let him finish the answer?
your country. 12% of the people of Taiwan say they want to reunify.
That's very rude.
China. 12%.
Mehdi,
You can't get more unpopular than that in that.
Mehdi, it's not up to the people in Taiwan to decide about the one China policy.
You're very blunt in your disregard for people's views, freedoms, dignity.
Man, you're from the UK. Are you kidding? You're from the UK.
You don't care about what they think.
Your family ran away from India. That, again, was a colony of the UK.
How do you feel about the fact that at least 500,000, some say more, of your brothers and sisters are being detained in camps by the Chinese government?
And the reason he's saying brothers and sisters is Victor Gao has said that Uyghurs are his brothers and sisters, you know.
Imagine being a member of the Chinese government, well, at least previously worked for them and currently doing pro-CCP stuff, and saying that the Uyghurs are your brothers and sisters.
So what's your point? I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Because they are simply in China. I mean, what a slap in the face to Uyghur people that are currently locked up in these camps. I'd like for you guys to listen to what he says about the genocide. It's very interesting.
That's interesting because the UN came to China and said there's no genocide. Dozens of countries came to China and they said there's no genocide. Islamic world, many Islamic countries came to China and they said there's no genocide. They said, okay, what China is doing is fine. The UN came here and didn't find anything. But those guys on YouTube, they know better than the UN, right?
I mean, look, that's literally like the Nationalist Party, the architects of apartheid in South Africa saying the Zulus are my brothers and sisters.
Yes.
You know?
It doesn't make sense.
Yes, right. The apartheid in China. This guy. The apartheid in South Africa is not even close to Xinjiang. Not even close. Not even close. There is a lot of Uyghurs around China. In the South Africa apartheid, black people could not even travel without an approval from the government. Like, it's insane, this comparison.
Yep.
They had made
Also,
them their enemy.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see.
And that's 5% of the adult Uyghur population, one of the highest imprisonment detention rates in the world.
Mehdi, the Uyghurs are a proud ethnic group, one of the 56 ethnic nationalities in China. The Uyghurs, as far as I'm concerned, are my true brothers and sisters.
Yes,
I
okay.
know many of them. I travel to Xinjiang regularly, and I talk to many other Uyghurs. Now, if anyone is serious about accusing China of practicing mass injustice to the Uyghurs, give me the evidence.
That's the whole point. There is no evidence. There is no evidence. That's why he's not arguing there like, oh, there is 5% of adult Uyghur population. Because the guy who created this data is a German guy who doesn't speak Chinese, doesn't speak Uyghur. And he said he was sent by God to investigate China minorities. But coincidentally, he's working for the Museum of the Victims of the Communism in the United States, in Washington, paid by the United States Congress. But hey, it's just a coincidence. Also, it's just a coincidence that his paper, scientific paper, was only published in the NATO magazine. Because it's bullshit. I read that paper. Like, it's insanely stupid. The math, everything is bad. But it matches with all the rhetoric against China, all the agenda against China. That's why. This guy who created those numbers, this German guy, at first he said between 100,000 and 1 million people, he said people, he never said Uyghurs on his original paper, are in prisons. Between 100 and 1 million. Can you see how crazy is that? But now he's saying, oh, maybe it's 2 million, maybe it's 3 million. He already said 3.9 million.
I
Just
think
did Human Rights Watch say 500,000 people detained over the years in recent years.
you keep quote Human Rights Watch, and I tell you...
Do you know where they got those numbers?
Let the guy finish his answer. That's so rude.
I don't know.
Can I tell
don't
you?
know. I don't know.
I thought you were the expert on
I
You've
do
been to
not know.
Xinjiang, you've spoken to Uyghurs. You never heard these numbers?
I do not know where did they get the
This is very rude. How do you expect him to know where you got your numbers from?
source.
So
of
their
the
source is the
quotation.
Xinjiang High People's Procuratorate, which has published its own statistics, Xinjiang official body, which says it's convicted 540,826 people prosecuted in the region since 2017.
So it's people, right? So just a reminder that 48% of the Xinjiang population is Uyghur. So there is Kazakhs, there is Hans, there is foreigners. There's over 20 million people living there. 23 million.
If you weren't following that, Victor is asking for his source. Where are these 500,000 Uyghurs?
Yeah.
Like, you
No,
know
he
what's-
didn't ask. He didn't ask. The guy said, oh, do you know where the source come from? He said, no, I don't.
Human Rights
Source.
Watch? You
Yeah.
gonna use Human Rights Watch? They've been discredited.
Yeah, where's the source of these numbers?
And he goes, okay. You know what the source is? The Chinese government.
Yes.
They published this.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
They did
Yes.
It's from the procurator in Xinjiang.
Yes.
The CCP said we imprisoned this many people, and they were proud of it.
Yeah.
For many, many years, 500,000 people. They never say 500,000 Uyghurs.
And those numbers are obviously massively downplayed.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, of
So more
course.
than that, but it's quite funny.
Yeah, see how it works. Those numbers are downplayed because you cannot trust the China official numbers.
He didn't know that those numbers came from his own government.
I love that was used because everyone knows it's more than that.
Everyone.
But Mehdi cleverly used the actual government figure,
Chinese
which is
government
downplayed,
figure.
like you said.
Yeah.
And he tried to refute it.
Yeah, he did. He said those numbers.
That's the thing. How do you know you cannot trust the data? If you cannot trust the data, you cannot trust anything. Even the 500,000 could be less.
aren't true, but
Yeah.
it was his own government.
Oops.
Yep. Oops. Yeah, let's see what's next. Because this is a
It shows you when you lie
fascinating.
and lie and lie, and the
Yeah.
government's based on lies, right? You
Yeah.
get caught up in it because you're like, wow, what did we say before?
Yeah.
What do we say now officially? I don't even know.
Not only that, they're not used to being challenged.
Yes, that's true.
The United Nations Office for Human Rights looked at satellite footage. They say 10 to 20% of the population. Amnesty estimates 1 million people
Huh?
in camps. 500,000 is a conservative number.
Mehdi, if you quote that organization, please be assured that that organization has been completely discredited for the false information they
So
came up with.
I love this game we're playing. You give me a source, I give you a source. They're discredited. They've said falsehoods.
Mehdi,
How can we?
one
Let me
thing-
ask you.
The guys already said like 1 million. Well, do you have to decide is 500,000 or 1 million? The satellite images are just a joke, like really.
Question.
There's this think tank in Australia who got some images from satellites, and they said, "Oh, all these here are concentration camps." Their thinking was, if it has a high, it has high walls and barbed wire, is a concentration camp. Then they got like 300 buildings, and they did some calculations. Oh, in these 300 buildings, there is over 1 million people. That's how it works. In Brazil, the schools are like that. The school I used to study in Brazil was like that. High walls, barbed wire. So if they see it, my school from the satellite image, they will say, oh, this is a concentration camp in Brazil.
How many people are in detention in Xinjiang? You give me a number.
Listen,
Why do you expect him to know that? Like, really? Do you think every Chinese in the government knows those numbers by heart? I mean,
if you look
I'm
at
listening.
Xinjiang,
You give me a number.
If you look at, I do not have
Of
a number.
course.
Yeah.
Hold on. You can't say it's not 500,000 and then say you don't have a number. I have a number. I have sources. How many people do you think are detained?
Let me
what,
give you my
who are your
reason.
sources?
No.
I go to Xinjiang a lot. I traveled
So
almost
they're your brothers
throughout
and sisters.
Xinjiang.
You go there a lot, but you
Yes.
can't tell me how many people are in detention.
Can
Listen,
you pause it?
the-
This is so
Yeah.
key, and this actually, it's so funny. We noticed we were talking about this before the show. Everything that Victor says in this interview
Yeah.
lines exactly up with the state narrative of, and it's not surprising, but the state narrative we see out of the propaganda outlets, the shills, all those people. It's
Yeah.
almost verbatim.
Yeah.
When they say, "Oh, well, I've been there. I see it. I can
Yeah.
see it with my own eyes. You can go there, buy the visa, or you can get it. You don't need a visa. You can just go there and see for yourself, right?"
Yeah.
And it's verbatim. They use these party talk.
Of course, man. Do you understand how government works? Do you understand how PR works? Did you know that the Pentagon alone has over 20,000 PR employees? That's how it works. Those guys cannot be that dumb, right?
Points exactly.
What do you
to,
think?
Like to the audience and to this Mehdi guy,
Yes.
thinking that this is gonna work.
Oof.
It's ridiculous. It's like, oh yeah, well, I mean, you can come look. Like somebody who
What do you expect? That he would just go there by himself, like, oh no, actually do this, no, actually, yeah, there's 500,000. Man, are you that stupid?
on something.
Right.
Oh yeah, come look in my room. It's not there. But then
Right.
if someone actually tries, they're like, wait,
No,
wait.
don't open that drawer.
Yeah, it's like, no, okay, come into my room, but don't look in that corner.
I didn't steal your wallet. It's
Yeah.
not in that corner.
Yeah, you
Can I go
don't
look
look
in
in
the
that
corner? No.
No.
It's not under that blanket in the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what this is?
Tell us.
It's crazy because people used to laugh with this comparison when we used to make it, but it's how North Korea has their tourism industry.
Yes.
You go through your pioneer tours or whatever, and you go to Pyongyang, and you go on a minded tour where you can't do anything on your own.
Yeah.
North Korea is still in a war against South Korea.
And
Oh,
you're not
also
going
under a lot of sanctions, but yeah, everything's fine, right? North Korea is the wrong one.
to certain areas, and you're
Yeah.
corralled into certain areas, and it's a manicured, developed, artificial Potemkin life, whereas the whole rest of the country's starving. They're
Yes.
imprisoned. There's There's medical
Forced
camps.
labor
It's
and-
terrible,
It's horrible.
right? Forced labor camps, yeah. Families torn apart, all this kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
very similar to what happens in Xinjiang.
Uh-huh.
And it's the same thing. Oh, go there for yourself. And you'll see what he says. Mehdi finally takes the bait and says, okay,
Yeah.
let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens here. Okay.
They are happier, they enjoy their life, they enjoy their Muslim practices and traditions. Listen,
How many people are in detention, Victor?
Mehdi, let me be philosophical.
No, don't be philosophical. Be
If
numerical.
no.
How many people are in detention? You said no to
If-
500,000. How about, okay, let's
That's very rude. That's a very rude interview. This guy doesn't understand how Chinese works. And do you expect him to know this kind of number? Like,
250,000.
Let me finish my point.
Nope.
If
that's
you-
very rude. No, I will not let you finish your point. If I was Victor, I would have left it.
Answer the
anyone-
question. You
if-
can't filibuster, Victor, on the
If
show. How
anyone
many
promotes
people do you
Xinjiang
think...
independence, they will be dealt with in
Got it.
court.
How many of them are in court? How many in detention?
A very small minority.
So you don't have a number. You say they're all happy, but you won't let in independent investigators. You won't let in journalists.
That's a lie. You know, the UN was here. That's a lie. As I said, many countries, including Muslim countries, came here with investigators, and they said everything is okay. So what happened was all these their German guys started in 2018, and then the United States and Europe were pushing, oh, UN should go to China, UN should go to China, UN should go to China. When the UN said we are going to China, Europe and the United States said, no, don't go. Don't go, because it will be all theater. Everything you see is fake. Everything you see is fake. They came to China, they issued a report, and they said, no genocide. There's nothing mentioning genocide on the report. There's nothing saying mass incarceration. Nothing. So this guy is just lying.
Why
Go
not?
there.
Why not?
They're not allowed to
will
go
be,
there.
I will be happy to escort you to Xinjiang.
Really?
Escort.
I can make that promise.
Really?
I will speak to the Chinese government.
Here's the problem,
to the
Victor.
Chinese
I don't want to
embassy.
escort. I don't want minders. I want to go freely. Will you allow that?
Yes, you can go. I can go to Xinjiang. Jesus Christ, just buy the tickets and go.
I do not make that decision.
Oh, Stephen.
Are you? They don't. That's the thing. They don't understand how Chinese communicate. The Chinese just being very honest. I cannot make. Don't make this decision if you go or not. If you want to go, you can go. It's not up to me to decide if you go or not.
I mean, how perfect
Yeah.
is that, right? When cornered, because this is the current thing, and I think this really has just flipped the tourism industry on its head. If anyone's paying attention to this,
Yeah.
Because China's narrative is that don't listen to Winston, don't listen to Matt, don't listen to any of these other people, especially don't listen to these millions of Chinese dissidents around
Yes,
the world,
yes.
right? There's nothing bad happening here.
Yeah.
You can go there, and it's totally fine. And he says, okay, but I don't want minders. I don't want people to follow me around.
Yeah.
Can you make that?
I'm living in China. So when he used the word escort, is not in a bad way. I understand that the Victor was kind of saying, look, I can accompany you to Xinjiang. I can go with you to Xinjiang. Not like a escort. But yeah.
Promise? I guess
No,
not my decision.
it's not my decision.
Because you will be minded the whole time.
I made a video. It's called China's Genocide Theme Park.
Of course, you did.
And there are certain parts in Xinjiang that everybody goes. The Urumqi Grand Bazaar.
Yep. We mapped it out, right?
Yeah, Kashgar, Ancient Town, the Hotan Night Market. And there are 4 places. And those are the only places that foreigners are allowed to
Yep.
go.
That's such a bullshit. I know people traveling all over. I know a guy who was traveling 1 month around Xinjiang, everywhere, on a motorbike.
And those are the only places you ever see.
Yep.
You know, you get this huge plethora of these videos out
That's
there these
not
days
true.
of people like, I went
There is even a girl, I already made a reaction. She's dating a Uyghur guy. She goes to Xinjiang all the time because her husband, the family is from there. She walks anywhere. What they're saying is a lie. And you can find this on YouTube.
to Xinjiang and there's no genocide. But if you look at the places they go, it's always the same
No.
places. It's never to where the camps are, which, by the way, are thousands of miles, sometimes hundreds of miles away from where these these tourist areas that they go to.
Even if they're 1 mile,
Yeah.
would you know? Would
No.
you be able to go inside?
Yeah.
There's plenty of
Exactly.
satellite footage. There's that guy that smuggled the footage out and ran away to America, right? There's plenty of evidence. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of Uyghurs that have fled and told stories about what happened
Yep.
that are still not in contact with their family members that are locked up, right?
Yeah.
There is the whole Xinjiang police database that was hacked.
Yep.
And now
This
we have-
database was very interesting because there were some actors as prisoners. They found a lot of people as a lot of actors as prisoners. The photos of the actors, and even the Chinese, the written Chinese on this report was wrong.
have thousands of police records for people that were arrested for reading the Quran,
Yep.
sometimes children. So there's so much evidence in support of this, it's not even funny, yet China keeps saying, where's the evidence?
Yeah.
If you talk about human rights violation is one thing, genocide is a completely different thing.
The evidence is right in front of us.
Genocide is what happening in Gaza right now.
Where's the evidence? Come see it for yourself.
Yeah.
Only if you go to these very specific spots
That's a lie.
we can make sure that you cannot see anything
That's
bad
a lie.
going on.
You know what a good analogy is?
What's that?
Imagine this. Imagine you're having a debate or an argument, right? And you tell me that America's got a very bad gun violence problem. And you use statistics from the south side of Chicago. There's 40 shootings over the 4th of July weekend, or whatever you say, right?
Sure.
And it's out of control. And I say, absolutely not. There is no gun violence in America.
Yeah.
And I can prove it to you. You know how? You're going to come to my house in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Sure.
That's stupid because he's not saying that. But this analogy is stupid because you two are very dumb. Victor said, go to Xinjiang. For your analogy to work, you would say, oh no, go to this area in Chicago and see by yourself. Jesus Christ, man. He's not inviting the other guy, I forgot his name. Did not invite him to go here to Guangdong, to
And we're
Hainan.
going to go around that area, around the retirement homes. And I'll show you there is zero
Exactly.
gun violence. I will take you to the retirement homes.
He
and
didn't
you
say
will
that.
see that nobody is shooting each other.
Correct.
It's exactly the
Nope.
same thing.
I use this argument all the time. Having lived in America now for 5+ years,
Yes.
I haven't seen any gun violence, and I haven't seen anyone shoot a gun. I've barely even seen a gun, unless somebody's shown me their collection.
Yes.
You know, out in public, I've never seen a gun. I've traveled the whole country. I have literally driven coast to coast, and we've traveled a lot. And we have a lot of friends who own guns and stuff, but you don't see them.
No.
So this whole anecdotal evidence, like he's saying, I have Uyghur friends and I travel there often.
Yeah, no. This I have to agree. This argument is stupid. This argument is very stupid. It's not smart.
That's BS anyway,
It's propaganda, like every government does. It's PR.
right?
it's
It's the
PR.
same as me saying, like, I've never seen guns, therefore gun violence doesn't exist in America.
Right. And you would never say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I know it does.
Yes.
Now I have to agree with them.
That's because there's an open press.
Yes.
People can tell, you know.
Yeah, we did a poll here with our audience. Remember, it was something like 80 or 90% of our audience. I can't remember. 80 or 90% of our audience has never seen a shooting.
Yes.
Right? But they believe that there's gun violence.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's reported.
It's the
Victor-
same.
Oh, because it's reported, not because it happens.
This is tonight about me going to Xinjiang and Rehan going to Xinjiang, and everyone's going to be fine. How safe, how okay are you with visiting China? How free do you think you are when you go to China?
When I go to China, and I haven't been for some time, I'm watched almost 24/7. There's always someone I can spot who's trailing me. So I know when my hotel room is upgraded suddenly to a spacious suite, I'm now in a place which is, but
I'll let him finish.
someone who's a mild critic and a scholarly critic like me doesn't feel safe in China. And by contrast, I feel safer in Taiwan.
Victor,
We have to remember, there's always a context to everything, right? We have to remember that China was invaded by the Europeans, by the United States, and this was like 100-something years ago. Shanghai was divided in half. One side to France, one side to the UK and the United States, and other small countries. Like less than 100 years ago. There's people alive in Shanghai who are from that age. So China has been fighting against colonization for a long time. The United States now is supporting separatist movement in Xinjiang, in Hong Kong, in Tibet, in Taiwan. right? Imagine if it was China, just let's do this exercise here. Imagine if it was China supporting the separatist movement in Puerto Rico, in Hawaii, in Guam. How would the United States would react? Would the United States be fine with some critics people going there, and they would be fine everywhere, anywhere they go would be fine? Or do you think would be similar treatment? That's the whole point. China is defending themselves. That's the whole point.
When you hear
I think
Stephen
that's so telling, by the way. This guy's barely a critic, right?
Yeah.
Very mild critic, professor.
Yes.
Wonderful. I looked up some of his work. Absolutely fantastic body of work. It's funny because I think a lot of people think, well, China's not North Korea, at least, right? And we really are there. When you have a professor that's getting bugged in a hotel for what? It's not like he's starting political.
Okay, so let's analyze the facts here. He didn't prove any bug. He said, "Oh, I was in a hotel and suddenly was upgraded for a new, nicer suite in the hotel. Suite, not suite." And he thinks, okay, this is a makeup thing, that the government is bugging me, but there is no proofs. It has no proofs to show that, oh, this was the government and they're bugging me, right? It's just him. It's the same anecdotal argument that those two guys are saying is stupid from Victor Gao.
Movements.
No.
It's not like he's inciting riots.
I can spot the guys behind me, I don't know how to say it, tailing me. I can spot them. Where's the proof?
Revolutions, right? Guy is a professor.
Yeah.
He's a scholar, right?
Correct.
So when he has to go to China for something, let's say it's a seminar or something, and his room's getting bugged, what does that show you about the insecurity of the government?
Sure.
It's
Exactly.
insane. I mean, that's Pyongyang.
I mean, we were followed around. We know what it's like.
Constantly for filming horses.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. I totally believe that the government cared about you too.
ELA search us because we filmed horses.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
he doesn't feel that safe going to China, prefers going to Taiwan. When we talk about freedom of speech, for example, in China, I live in the United States of America, where I can say that Donald Trump is I don't know, hypothetically, an orange-faced narcissist.
Good for you.
I also live here in the UK. I'm British. Here you have Rishi Sunak, the former prime minister, was called a pint-sized loser
Okay.
by a Labour
Okay.
politician. No one in China has that kind of freedom to talk about their government, to talk about President Xi Jinping in that way. You can't.
Why do you think this is a good thing? Why do you think this is respectful? And again, why are you comparing your society with China? China is a Confucianist society. This is not accepted. Confucianism is spread around Southeast Asia. This is not accepted at all because they have this image of the leaders. You should respect them. You cannot do this kind of stupid comparisons. It's a completely different society. Why do you want China society to work as your society? By the way, you live in the United States where there's Nazis on the streets, literally flying swastikas flags. This is right? This is freedom of speech? This is acceptable?
Say anything like that. You wouldn't dare say anything like that because you know what will happen to you when you go home. You know what will happen to your family. That's what China is.
Mehdi, if you
Yeah. So he's from the UK, right? There was another king in the UK because, of course, they still have kings. By the way, who votes for kings? Is this a democracy, like kings? Anyway, there was some people protesting against King Charles. There a lot of people protesting. They got arrested. But hey, it's okay. It's democracy.
do anything, write anything, email or chat to your friends about taking anything action against, let's say, Prime Minister of Britain,
That's not what I
President
said.
of the United States,
I didn't say that.
you'll be dealt with
That's
very
what I said.
swiftly.
Victor, you're a master of
In
straw man.
China, in
That's
China-
not what I-
He's a master of straw man. See, I changed it.
Yeah.
And this guy is very rude. He doesn't let Victor finish his points. That's very rude.
Yeah, I
That's not
changed
an
it to
interview.
Like, oh, if you send emails about subverting the government, yeah.
But nobody brought that up.
No.
Nobody said taking action against
Let
the
him,
UK.
let him
That's not
finish his point.
what we're talking about.
Yeah,
It was
it's the
talking
fact
about
that you can-
criticism of the party and of the leadership.
No. Saying Donald Trump is orange or whatever, this is not criticizing the party. Like, really? You guys don't understand what it's criticizing?
Exactly. You can call
This-
like King Charles a dumbass.
Yes.
This,
You know?
and do you think this is criticizing?
You can do that.
You don't have to support him.
You can't say Xi Jinping is a dumbass.
No,
in,
and this is
in-
that-
Yes,
China,
of
yeah.
course.
I said
Different society.
that was called a pint-sized loser. Would you call Xi Jinping a pint-sized loser?
Mehdi, each country has different sensitivities. In UK,
So you're admitting you can't criticize the Chinese
no,
government?
No.
Because those two things are not the same, Jesus Christ. Those two things are not the same. Criticizing the government is saying the government maybe is doing something wrong. Calling Xi Jinping names is not criticizing the government.
You can criticize the government if you are positive in your attitude.
You can criticize the government if you're positive.
Yes.
Is that the new philosophy?
No, if
No,
you
man,
can
this is Confucianism. I'm sorry if you didn't study.
come up with your
You've got to come up with
constructive-
nice insults.
No.
What?
Constructive advice.
Constructive
Yes.
advice.
For example,
Oh, I'm loving
in
this.
dealing with the aging population, what should be the government do? What should this governor
Yes.
do?
But you can't
What should
say the president's lied. He's a liar.
No?
Jesus. So see, this is not a criticizing the government. This is not criticizing.
You will be dealt with very swiftly in China. You cannot say that.
That is the most honest thing you've said tonight. Former Foreign Minister.
yeah, I mean, it's true.
This is very unpolite, very, very unpolite. He doesn't understand how China works, but he wants China to work in the same way his country, which, by the way, is a kingdom, works. And this is so stupid. It's very bad, very bad.
Tracy,
You can't even say the leader is a liar.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, and then at least you have a top government dude here in this chat, here
Yeah.
in this debate, saying you will be dealt with swiftly.
swiftly. Yeah.
And I'll give my thoughts on that when we wrap it up. We might as well finish this
Gang
off.
was removed from his post and has not been seen in public since June 2023. A few months later, China's defense minister, General Li Shangfu, disappeared from public view for months, has now been expelled from the party,
Yes.
accused of corruption. That's at least 2 ministers that disappeared just in the last year. With apologies to Oscar Wilde, to lose one minister might be unfortunate. To lose two is careless, is it not?
Yeah, Oscar Wilde is not from China. Again, the guy is interviewing. He's very ignorant about China, how China culture works, Confucianism and everything. He's very ignorant. So he wants China to work the way his culture works. And it will never happen. They tried.
The point I want to make, this means China is really merciless
Yes.
in dealing with corruption
Yes.
of all kinds, even among the
Your
highest
foreign
rank.
minister and defense minister. Imagine Antony Blinken and Lloyd Austin just disappeared tomorrow.
Again, it's the same point. China is not the United States. United States will deal with this in a different way. They don't really care about corruption. So China is fighting corruption on their own way. Somehow this is bad.
We don't know where they are. We've never seen them again. That's not normal, Victor.
Listen,
Man, that's not normal for you. You are from a country that has a kingdom in 2024. This is not normal.
corruption is rampant
How
in
do we know
China.
they're corrupt? They just disappeared. Where's the trial?
Allow
Where's the
me
trial,
to
Victor?
finish my point. Corruption of all kinds
Yeah.
in China need to be dealt with.
So where's
with
the trial?
Mercilessness.
So where's the trial? Where's
This
the
is
trial?
very rude. Like really very rude. Not respectful at all.
From is it? We don't even know where he is.
And then later, no Chinese will talk with a foreign press again, or it happened already on the Olympics. The Chinese, they didn't really want to talk with foreign press because of this kind of behavior. They don't listen. Then they try to make the Chinese look bad because China works in a different way. That's so bad, like really.
Andy, those things you don't know doesn't mean doesn't happen.
Yes,
Where is the
right?
trial for this man you're just accusing of corruption?
Qinggang was my good friend for more than 20 years.
Where is he then?
He is involved in corruption.
Where is he?
And he is dealt with very swiftly,
Where is he, Victor?
regardless of
He's your
the
good friend. You don't know where he
seniority.
is.
See,
Regardless
so rude,
of
Where is the
so
foreign minister
rude.
of China?
Position.
This is not a hard question. We're not asking where Rehan's brother in the middle of Xinjiang is that you can dodge. Where is the former foreign minister of China who disappeared? And by the way, he wasn't accused of corruption. The spokesman came out and said he has health reasons. Then corruption came later, by the way.
Because that's how China works, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm tired of this because, as I said, I'm living in China and I work with Chinese people. I'm living with Chinese people all the time. And this is so disrespectful, this arrogant posture of the guy, like, where is he? Where's this number? Like, really, you don't let the guy make his point to answer the questions. It's very, very disrespectful.